Yo, what is up, Raidernation? It's your boy Simone Raider back at it again with yet another video, man. I finally just came back from New Orleans. I was out there for Media Row, got a lot of content out there, but it feels real good to finally be back here in Vegas. But before we do get started with this video, if this is the very first time you guys are coming across this channel and you love Daily Raiders content, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. So let's get started. Like I said, I was at New Orleans at Media Day. I got to link up with a lot of people. I got to see a lot of familiar faces, including Josh Jacobs, Maxx Crosby, and a lot of other personalities out there. But the first person I do want to talk about right now is Josh Jacobs. We all know that he joined the Packers this past season, had a phenomenal season with the Packers, and makes you think, man, if only he stayed with the Raiders. Now, I want to talk about him real quick because he was on Q Myers. Shout out to Q. He had a little sit down with Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs kind of set the record straight and explained everything that went on with him leaving the Las Vegas Raiders.
Let me say this first, man, because I really haven't spoke on it. So
Okay.
I want to clear the air.
Okay.
While I have the chance, especially for Raiders fans. I love the Raiders fans. I love the organization.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be one of these guys that I played at one organization for my whole career.
Yeah.
Things I would say to fans is they always bring up loyalty, right? But they don't never hold the organizations to the same type of loyalty that they hold the players to.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, like I tell people, I could have came in, won rushing title in the league. We could have had conversations then.
Yeah.
We didn't have it. We never had a conversation. Came in was like, oh, we're not picking up your fifth-year option. I'm like, okay. Well, what we doing? Like, oh, we gonna franchise tag you? And I'm like, the things that was said, I really don't want to throw the guys that was there at the time under the bus. Mm-hmm. But they basically told me to shut up and play.
Right.
Like, long story short, they told me to shut up and play. They said, man, we gonna franchise tag him. He gonna play. And that's gonna be what it is. And honestly, I was preparing myself not to play at all that year.
Yeah.
I was preparing myself to play 4 games, the last 4 games, to get credit of the season, and then move on and figure it out and let them keep the money.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I felt like I gave my heart and my soul to the organization. I felt like losing or whatever, like the ups and downs, I was always, you can never say that I went out there in a game and I didn't try, or I didn't play hard, I didn't play through injuries, or that I, whatever. And I always, was a great teammate. So for me, it was just like, man, what more do I have to prove that I love it here and that I'm one of the guys that should be, go down as a great here. Yeah. That was one of the things I was just like, for the longest, my agent was like, man, Josh, like, they are not offering you nothing. You keep trying to give him chances. He was like, you gotta leave. And I'm just like, man, I met with him. I said, look, I have 8 teams right now offering me more than what y'all offer me. I said, can y'all at least meet me in the middle? Right. They said, no, we can't do that. Wow. I said, okay. I'm like, all right, I understand. The market at that time is whatever. I said, okay, well, if I take the number that y'all offer me, which was 3 for 10. 3 for 30, 10 a year. I said, can I at least put incentives in my contract that if I hit them, I get it, and if I don't, I don't. Right. It's not really,
That'd be on you.
It'll be on me.
Right.
You putting it on me. They looked at me and said no. Wow. I said, well, then what do we have to talk about? And so it's funny to me because everybody they perceive it a different way than what it actually happened. Yeah. It's like I never wanted to leave. I never wanted that to be the reality. I literally tried everything I could to make it work. But after a while, you're not going to just keep saying F you to me and then expect me to just sit there and be like, okay, yeah, that's not who I am. So it is what it is. Like I said, at the end of the day, I still love the organization. I still have love for the fans. Hopefully one day, man, when this is over, I can still come back and light the torch, but it just played out how it played out, man, and it is what it is.
Now, there's definitely a lot to unpack from this clip right here. This is something that I already knew about because he actually did reach out to Maus, and we talked about this. We were actually supposed to have a whole podcast about him explaining the reason why he left, but we never got a chance to do that. But we are planning a future episode with Josh Jacobs on the 9th Island when he does come back to Las Vegas. With that said, though, this is something that he did bring up, and a lot of Raider fans kind of went at Josh Jacobs and were frustrated with Josh Jacobs leaving the team. And I know that Josh Jacobs was throwing a lot of subliminals out there is because the fact that he felt hurt. He wanted to stay over here with the Las Vegas Raiders. He wanted to play here and wanted to remain a Raider for life. I mean, heck, he got it tatted on his arm. But knowing the market and knowing everything that happened and knowing Tom Telesco, he was the main guy that did not want to bring Josh Jacobs back. Heck, he didn't even want to pay running backs as much as, Josh Jacobs wanted to. And I know he brought up the fact that there was other teams out there that offered him more, and that's entirely true. Because even when the Packers did come up to him and gave him a good offer, the offer that he ended up taking, he came back to the Raiders. He talked to them. He really wanted to get something done over here. At the end of the day, it came down to Tom Telesco not budging at all. And the fact that the Raiders didn't even want to work with him, I felt like that was one of the main losses that the Raiders had last offseason. Not bringing back Josh Jacobs really showed how valuable he was, because our running back core really didn't look good last season, and you could definitely tell. Now, Josh did bring something up to us that he didn't bring up on the show, was the fact that before he made any decision, he did talk to AP, because he respected AP and he respected the Raiders enough, and talked to him about what he should do. Now, AP said if they're not able to give him anything, go do what's best for you and your family, and that's why he eventually left. And it really does suck, though, because he's a guy that I really loved over here, and I always stuck by him, even though a lot of the Raider fans turned against him. I mean, the Raider fans, we can be ruthless. We turn against a lot of people, especially when we don't get our way. But to show that the Raiders didn't show that same loyalty to him really goes to show that, a lot of these players, man, got feelings too. But I do want to give a huge shout out to your boy Q for this awesome interview. If you guys haven't checked it out already or checked the full thing out, go over to the Locked On Raiders. They'll have the full interview there. I'm just happy that he was able to bring this to light, and a lot of Raider fans are starting to, have a little bit more respect for Josh Jacobs and his decision to leave the Raiders. Now I want to talk about, his compadre, his draft buddy, Mad Maxx Crosby. Max was all over the place as well at Media Row, going to a lot of different media outlets. I know he didn't really get to stop and talk to the Oos, but it's all good. I know the Oos is busy, but a lot of reports, rumors was going around. While I was over there, I seen people posting saying that Max could possibly leave, especially after he had his little talk with Kay Adams on her show.
Where are you on from I'm not leaving to I'm requesting a trade? You're allowed, Matt.
I'm taking it one step at a time. There's so many different elements to it. Like I said, from the contract to this and that, you got to figure out who's our future at certain positions, things like that. So I'm truly, and I'm not just saying this to be like politically correct, I'm literally taking it one day at a time. For me, I want to win, no matter what. Like, I'm an ultimate competitor. I want a chance. And I don't want to join the damn Chiefs and get a Super Bowl. That would mean absolutely nothing to me. I want to be a part of winning in a culture that is about winning.
Now, I know Max is definitely a guy that recently has been getting a lot of trade rumors going around on his name, on whether or not the Raiders should move on from him. And he's the guy that I would not want to trade away at all. He's the identity of the Raiders. He's the leader of this team. So I love the fact that he kind of went out there and talked about how he doesn't want to just leave and join another team, a super team, just to win a Super Bowl. He wants to do it over here. He wants to be the change here in Las Vegas. He wants to be the guy, the face of the Raiders when we start to make that turnaround. Now, after that interview with Kay Adams, I'm not going to lie, a lot of people were going crazy. A lot of people were speculating a lot of different things. But all that quickly got shot down after he talked about how optimistic he is about this team.
Pete Carroll, a guy that's one of 4 coaches to win a Natty and a Super Bowl. You got Spytek, who was with Tom Brady the whole time, in Tampa and won a Super Bowl. Brady, I don't even have to say anything about that. And those are the type of guys. You got Egon, some new ownership. These guys are won in everything they've done across the board. So I'm looking forward to continue talking to them and having those conversations. Yeah. But it seems as if we're going the right direction. I can't say that it is, but I've been. This is probably the most optimistic I've been in recent years.
Now, after hearing all that, I can definitely say that we have nothing to worry about, because it seems like Maxx Crosby isn't going to go anywhere. And with this new regime intact, and with Tom Brady wanting to do everything he can to bring Maxx Crosby and keep him here in Vegas, makes me feel more better about his situation. All they got to do is get him that extension, because we're going to have to keep him for many, many years moving forward, especially with this new rebuild. Well, it's not a rebuild, but more of a revamp with the new coaches that we have here, with our new GM, with Tom Brady running the show. Heck, I feel optimistic about this team. Then again, I'm always optimistic about this team. But it just seems a little different this year with all the experience that we brought in, with all the coaches that we brought in, and with free agency right around the corner, man. I'm just excited about the moves that we're going to make. And all I can do is just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and enjoy this ride that the Raiders are going to take us on. So to hear how excited Maxx Crosby is about this makes me excited about this. Not only that, we got to see a little bit of an interaction between Maxx Crosby and Shedeur Sanders. And I know everybody's going to be running like, oh, Maxx Crosby wants Shedeur Sanders over here to the Raiders. And you know what? I don't put that out of the realm of possibility. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to come over here, but I know for a fact that the Raiders and Shedeur Sanders, that's a pairing that I would love to see here in Las Vegas.
I'm going to show you a logo. Show the camera your emoji face with SAT. You ready?
Yeah.
First up. Oh. So what we got here?
I'm gonna just be on that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna just be on that
Oh,
one.
we all know what it takes. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out right here.
Yeah.
But they gonna trade up.
Yeah. Oh, you saying they gotta come get you?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. That's really. Yeah. So I know it can happen. That's why I put this. Yeah. I'm thinking like, what they gonna do?
What do you mean by that? Now, another quarterback that has been talked about with the Raider Nation, especially after the hiring of Pete Carroll, has been Russell Wilson. And you guys know how I feel about Russell Wilson. I'm more than open to bringing him over here. He's a guy that I wouldn't mind bringing here. But I know that there's a lot of other fans that don't want him to come over here. Now, there's a lot of reports going around that Russell Wilson will not be going back or will be signing back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He most likely will be hitting free agency. And the Raiders have definitely became a name that's a possibility for him, as well as the Giants. But when talked about, Jay Glazer quickly shot down any type of rumor or reports of Russell Wilson coming to the Raiders.
Yeah, Russell Wilson obviously has had a long career and going back to free agency. Pete Carroll, I mean, this is kind of connecting dots.
That ain't gonna happen.
That one's over, right?
That's not gonna happen.
Now, if there's anything that I know about Jay Glazer, he usually gets a lot of things right than wrong. So, I mean, if the Raiders don't end up getting Russell Wilson, then I'm totally fine with it. There's a lot of other people that I wouldn't mind bringing over here. There's a lot of other quarterback options that the Raiders can go in, whether in the draft or free agency. We've talked about it a lot before, and we're going to continue to talk about it. Now, I know that there was another name out there that was thrown, according to NFL rumors, that the Raiders could possibly be linked to J.J. McCarthy, but I'm not even going to get too much into that. I just wanted to kind of bring it up to you guys because I don't feel like that's a direction that the Raiders should go in or even waste any draft capital on. But with that said, though, the Raiders can go so many different directions. But if you guys had to choose the quarterback that you would want starting in 2025 for the Raiders, who would it be? Let me know down in the comments below. Last thing I want to talk about in this video is Brock Bowers not winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, this is crazy to me. I know as a Raider fan, and I know we can be biased, but looking at what Brock Bowers did in his rookie season alone, being an all-pro tight end in his rookie season, breaking many records, being a great athlete out there, still not being able to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year is crazy to me. And it just shows to you that not only is team record really like a part of this, but the fact that it usually goes to a quarterback. I know that Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal year, and I think that his playoff run really helped them get that award. But when you look at a player and an individual player doing what they can, being one of the best in the league at their position in their rookie year, you can't say that Brock Bowers didn't deserve it. But you know what? Kudos to Jaden Daniels. This just all kind of reminds me of the year that, you know, Josh Jacobs had in his rookie season, not winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year when they gave it to what's his face, Kyler Murray over him. Kind of crazy, but as a Raider fan, we just got to get used to this, and I just hope that this puts a little bit of a chip on Brock Bowers' shoulder to go out there and perform even better next year. And who knows how good he could be with an actual quarterback throwing to him. So with that said, though, Raider Nation, man, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for showing a lot of love to the channel, man. I know I was gone for the last day or two. I was out there in New Orleans traveling. You know, I did a whole little turnaround trip trying to get as much content for you guys as possible and trying to get in my, you know, media reporter era, you know what I mean? But I'm actually going to drop the full vlog of my whole New Orleans trip and all the little interviews that I had tomorrow. So definitely tap into that. So if you guys are not subscribed, like I said before, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos like this. With that said, what do you guys think about everything? What do you think about Josh Jacobs and his news? What do you think about Maxx Crosby and his future with the Raiders? And what do you think about the future of the Raiders at the quarterback position? Who is your guy? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Until the next one, this is your boy Small Raider and your boys. Yeah.